Welcome everybody, this is Commander Ramsey. It's been a while since I've posted a video. Still dealing with increased neurological problems, so I'm doing my best. But I thought you might enjoy this video. Don't post lower tier battles too often, but the old USS Oklahoma, classic battleship, as many of you know, from World War II in the beginning at Pearl Harbor. She unfortunately had a short life in the battle, but contributed in other ways. This represents one of the old American dreadnought battleships whose design preceded World War II. And when wargaming came out with the Oklahoma, one of its biggest selling points was the fact that it had secondary guns that actually could contribute to the battle. Their range was extended beyond other Tier 5 battleships, and equipped properly, which I'll show you at the end of this battle how this one is equipped. You can get your secondary guns out to a little over 8 kilometers, which is fantastic. And you will see in this battle just how fantastic it is. And you'll notice a lot of the other players, particularly on the enemy side of the battle, will probably not be aware of the fact that the Oklahoma has such tremendous secondary guns on her. Our main guns are pretty much what you would expect for Tier 5, fairly slow reload, but the range is increased with the spotter planes. And playing these type of battleships at this tier is all about positioning. And you can see there he was curving away a little faster than I thought, so my shells came short. I've got a little support there in the A-cap. Typically going to your right is not the best scenario because typically the enemy comes in fairly strong. Most teams like to go to the left when they start the battle, just human nature. And we are outnumbered here, as you will see, but it's an interesting turn of events. But these old dreadnoughts is all about positioning in the game, because your top speed is at best 19 or 20 knots, so you don't get anywhere fast at all. In fact, it takes a very long time to get anywhere in these things. And the risk you run if you get in too close, if your team abandons you, you typically will get focus fired, and that'll be the end of the game for you. Back to the port you go. At least you'll get a quicker meal than the rest of the team. Anyway, I began to realize that this cruiser is coming in broadside, so I try to get some shots on him, but as I said before, the main guns are okay, but at this tier they're not the most accurate. I go ahead and put my secondary guns on an incoming ship here to the left, and you can see they're already opening up. He was over 8 kilometers away. Starting to get a few secondary hits even at that distance, which is a few years ago was unheard of for Tier 5. That the best you could get typically was around 5.5, maybe 6 kilometers, and their accuracy really stunk. I see the new destroyer Turbine. I love that name since it used to be in the power industry. Is close by, so I focus my secondaries on him and try to get him batteries around. He's definitely a target. The Turbine has very short gun range, 6 kilometers or less typically, but she does have very strong torpedoes out to 8, so I remembered that, so I decided to turn quickly, knowing that torpedoes are probably on my way. And notice I took him out close quarters expert with my secondary guns. I go ahead and train my secondary guns on this cruiser and try to swing my main battery around. And here come the torpedoes. This one actually coming in from the cruiser, Kirov. I figured he would launch his as well. Of course, being at Tier 5, most ships will not have hydroacoustics, so you really have to anticipate, the big word anticipate, when you think your enemy may be launching his or her computers. And I just took out another ship, another close quarters expert. I took out that cruiser with my secondary gun, so that's 2. Notice I had to circle back and around because our destroyer got taken out. And I start to send a message to my team, hey, there's 4 of us, 3 of them now. We've got them outnumbered. We need to go in and rush the ACAP. We should be able to take it. Don't be afraid to be aggressive when you've got the numbers and you've got the ship class that'll support your rush. So one of my teammates took out the other enemy ships, so now it's 4 against 2. That's when I send my message, hey, let's take this cap. It's ours. And this poor battleship here is on the enemy team is outnumbered. But hey, sometimes that happens. I definitely know what that feels like. So we start to move in. My secondaries are opening it up on him. I'll get a few hits, I believe, on him before we send him back to port. The good thing is, you'll notice I'll tend to use the HE shells initially on these old dreadnoughts from a distance, because I've found a lot of times the AP shells will either over-penetrate or bounce off, so I'm looking to start a fire. But when I get in closer, mid-range, I'll try to switch to AP shells. But I'll get unbelievable number of fires started, and I believe most of them are due to the secondary guns, which is another side benefit. There's another fire started from the secondary guns. And at this tier, there's not that many repairs on these old battle wagons, so if you don't have the proper signal flags and skill set to reduce the fire impacts, it will burn down pretty quickly and head back to port. Here's another fire started on. Amazing. Alright, he's gone. We're going to take the ACAP. You notice the ship balance there is almost close to even, but we're losing the B-cap but gaining the ACAP. But C is in solid hands into the enemy, so we're behind by about 100 points. So this game's far from over. We could lose because they have a destroyer and we don't. It's the turbine, the one that we could not completely get over in one of the other locations. I believe there was 2 turbines. We took out the first one there in the ACAP, but another turbine over in C or B did not get taken out all the way, so he's low on health, but still deadly as a destroyer, particularly the only destroyer. And he has 8-kilometer torpedoes at Tier 5, which is really strong. Particularly if you're in an old battle wagon like the Oklahoma, which has no hydroacoustic. Your only hope is, as you will see at the end of this battle, I'll have the skill set up to increase my torpedo detection, which helps. But situational awareness and anticipation is probably your strongest suit, and with the additional skill set of picking up torpedoes quicker, your secondary benefit there. could not get a clear shot over the island just in my way. And it was a shame. I was trying to help my partners. I shot a test shot because sometimes that indicator is only for one turret on your ship, not another. I launched my spotter to try to help. It didn't really give me much relief. Here I know my friendly is going to go down in the B cap. He's really low on health. I open up my secondaries on the enemy ship. Try to offer some support. I'm trying to wait to get a good shot on him. So I'll launch away. Get some damage on him. But unfortunately our friendly goes down here. And it's me and the enemy battleship here in the B cap. He puts up a good fight for as low health as he is. The Oklahoma's armor is not the best in the world, and you will take damage. I'm trying to get a little bit of an angle, swinging around. The secondaries are really laying waste to him. And there he goes down, a third close quarters expert in a Tier 5 Oklahoma. Oh, that's a kill. So I try to slowly march into B cap. My friendly there is taking the B cap, getting it started, which is great. And got a compliment there on good positioning, which I appreciate. Begin to evaluate the situation. Okay, you got 3 old battle wagons versus 1 destroyer. Typically at Tier 5, that's not a good position to be in. Even though you're outnumbering them, a destroyer can launch torpedoes at will and take out battle wagons pretty easy. So this is going to require a lot of expertise here. First thing is we've taken the B cap, so that's going to slow the point spread down. We should start catching up. But the destroyer could easily take out one of us and get the points headed back in the other direction. Our friendly there to the north, probably in what I would deem to be the strongest Tier 5 battleship, is still at a disadvantage when you got a destroyer out there with 8-kilometer torpedoes. I began to realize that we have no idea where this guy is. And as you'll see, the friendly to my right, okay, there's the torpedoes launched, so that gives you an idea. He's somewhere there, you know, in the B sector, 5 or 6. But he's also moving, don't forget that. So the question is he moving left, to my left, or to my right? I would surmise he's probably moving to the left, because there's no reason to go back and take our guard C, because we're slow. His only hope is to try to take out 1 or 2 of us and recapture either A or B cap. So I began to realize this in my head and think, okay, I don't need to make myself a target. So you'll see I start slowing down here and backing up in a defensive posture. I probably should have realized, okay, you see I got detected. So based on my detection range, I know he's at least within my detection range because I had that skill point set up for that. But I also know that his torpedoes, you know, won't go whatever it is, 12 kilometers, 12 or 13 kilometers. So I've got time to stop and back up and keep my bow focused to the north and try to limit any torpedo damage that may be coming in, because he can close that gap from 12 or 13 kilometers to 8 pretty quick and launch, and I could easily get hit and taken out. So as slow as the old Oklahoma is, I'm going to start backing up and try to point my bow toward the north. And the good thing is, like I said, I can rely on my secondaries. If he gets in too close, I can start putting some damage on him, because he can outrun my turrets moving left or right. I advise my friendly there, Meat Hook WX, to zigzag as they did back in WWII, because if he is being targeted by torpedoes, a zigzag will effectively throw off a direct hit by all torpedoes. You may get hit by one, but not all of them. So I start backing up. You'll see I start, once I get the ability to get past the middle here, where I don't run into the island on my right, I'll start turning my stern to the north. When Wargaming did the rework on commander skills, this was great for players like me and others who had a lot of ships, but also had quite a few premium ships, because we could move these big commanders around that have really high skill points. And you'll see that set up at the end. I launched my spotter, and maybe in hopes that if he gets too close, I might be able to spot him. You can see with my increased detection, I got lucky there, but my strategy was still sound. Now I've got myself in a good defensive posture. He comes and launches again, you know, on the bow. I'm going to take some damage, but hopefully not catastrophic. All right, now he's starting to show himself. He's coming in toward me. You see his smoke. I take some pot shots there, because I know I've got my secondaries to rely upon. I know he can close the distance really quick and launch his torpedoes, and I'll be toast. But remember, he's low on health. So I've got my finger on the keys to attach the secondary guns to him as soon as he pops out of that smoke. Again, I'm trying to put my stern in a defensive position. My bow. Okay, I've got my secondaries set on him, and they'll start opening up. But fortunately, my friendly Meat Hook takes him out. But I got one hit in there, and that's the end of the game. Very exciting. Salute to the enemy player there for giving it his best. But you notice there I got 3 close quarters in a Tier 5 battleship. I think you would be hard-pressed to do that in any other ship besides the Oklahoma. Maybe 1 or 2 other ships. 102 secondary hits. Wonderful. I ended up getting top score in XP. 3 close quarters. It was a really good battle. Yes, there was no... let's see here. Yeah, there were no aircraft carriers in this battle, which is a different type of battle. It's pros and cons. You obviously don't have your aircraft carrier to spot DD, so that would really come in handy here at the end, but we didn't have that, so it presented a whole new strategy to try to protect your cap zone and win. Yeah, let's see. You'll notice some of the players on my side, we had 3 players left. That wasn't bad. But over half the team actually scored above 1,000 XP. And sorry for the slowness here of the video. I had forgotten I got distracted for some reason. That's what happens when you have neurological problems. Plus I forget my train of thought. But anyway, I put out a few compliments of the players who contributed at the top there. The details I'll show you here, you'll see where the impact of the secondary guns lied. You can see the individual contributions. 2 fires in the beer bus and 2 fires on the Kirov. But all 3 of those were destroyed by secondary batteries at the end. 6 fires. And so forth. So if you look over here, 102 secondary hits contributing 15,000. Fires another 15,000 or so. So most of those fires were from the secondary, so almost 30,000 probably in damage of the 80 was from the secondary guns, which is great. Quite a few commander XP. I try to set my signal flags up to where I can get those commander XP built up so I can grow my commanders. But looking back at this, I'm sorry, there were 10 fires set in the battle. And for a tier 5 ship, that's really great. And the secondary is probably the reason why. Defended 1, captured 1, which, you know, that typically will come at the end of the game if you're in a battleship. Citadel only 1, because the guns are not the most accurate in the world at this tier level. And let's move on here. I'm going to show you the commander skill setup. You can take a look at that. Incoming fire alert, that helps from long distance. Vigilance, that's what I was mentioning to get better torpedo acquisition. That helps a lot when you don't have hydro on a battleship. Greasing the gears, these old ships are slow. And I've set the Oklahoma up for secondaries, and I wouldn't do that really on any other tier 5 battleship, maybe unless it's one of those German ones. Adrenaline rush and close quarters combat, which helps on these old dreadnoughts. Let's see, let's take a look at the equipment. Here I've got the extra special modification, special upgrade, damage control party mod 1 that extends American repairs 28 seconds, which is fantastic. Damage control, and my secondary guns again are boosted. The Oklahoma, I do that for that ship, not any other. And that gives you that secondary range out there, 8.3 kilometers, which ironically is almost about 2 kilometers farther than the destroyer turbine's main battery. I put the spotting aircraft in here because at the beginning of the game, these old battle wagons, I try to get some long distance shots on HE. Sometimes I get a fire started and get some damage early in the game. And also it might come in handy spotting an enemy ship next to an island that's close by. There's my signal flag setups, pretty standard for these old battleships. Didn't have a CB, but normally you have one. I used the additional signal flag there to get that additional range on the secondaries.